You ever catch your neighbor red-handed, like literally hand deep in the cookie jar? But the jar is your front porch, and the cookie is that brand new Bluetooth speaker you were excited to try out. Yeah, been there. The worst part isn't losing the package, it's watching the security footage and seeing Karen. Yes, that Karen parading away in a neon pink tracksuit, my Amazon box under one arm, and her screechy little Pomeranian under the other, like she just pulled off the heist of the century. That was the exact moment I realized not only had I been robbed, but I was just handed a golden opportunity. Time to serve some neighborhood justice. This circus started a few weeks back. My deliveries kept disappearing. Not every package, but enough to make me question my sanity. Porch pirates. Maybe, but I live on a dead-end cul-de-sac with just 6 houses. And I knew all the faces except one Karen. She moved in after what looked like the world's nastiest divorce. Since then, she's filed more HOA complaints than anyone I've ever met over Flag Heights kids on scooters. Even the location of my trash cans, because apparently being 6 inches off can trigger a personal crisis. I figured she was a menace, but a thief. That was a whole new level. The day I got the footage, it had just rained crystal clear shot. Karen waddling over, not even trying to be slick. No knock, no hesitation, just looks both ways, snatches the box and struts off with that I own this street energy. That box was a gift for my sister. She had no clue she'd just signed up for a lesson in consequences. Now I wasn't about to go full Jerry Springer on my front lawn. I filed a police report, shot the video to the HOA, got their standard, we'll look into it reply, which is HOA code for good luck, buddy. Fine, let's play a different game. For the next week, I tracked every delivery. I set out decoy packages, old phone books, a brick expired protein powder, anything useless just to see if the thief took the bait. Like clockwork, the boxes vanished. Every single time Karen's car was in the driveway. Didn't matter what the label said. Heck, I addressed one to Dr. Flapjack and she still took it. Even left one packed so tight with plastic air pillows it took me 5 minutes and a steak knife to open. She snatched it in under 10. It wasn't about the stuff anymore, it was about the principle. Karen operated with zero remorse, that weird smugness people get when they think they'll never be caught. So I upped my game. I called animal control, not about her dog, bless its over-caffeinated heart, but to ask about live animal transport. Turns out you can't mail animals, but you can schedule wildlife pickup. That was my cue. I had a possum wreaking havoc in my garage, so I filed a nuisance report. Animal control trapped him, tagged him, and set up relocation right to my porch in a big crate with a note thanking the foster volunteer for caring for a high-maintenance nocturnal mammal. You can guess what happened next. Karen, mid-phone call in flip-flops, dragging her dog eyes the box labeled live animal and just hauls it off. 15 minutes later, I'm watching a live stream as she struggles with the crate until animal control's back at her door because Karen's called in a panic, convinced someone mailed her a rabid raccoon. The officer finds Karen on a stool, waving a broom, her dog peeing on the rug. When they ask about the crate, Karen tries to play the victim until the paper trail leads right back to my house. The officer asks if I want to press charges. Nah, I just want to make sure the possum's okay. Karen, meanwhile, gets slapped with a $500 fine for wildlife interference. The look on her face? Priceless. You'd think she'd back off, right? Nope. A week later, I catch her creeping around eyeing a box I left half open, packed with glitter dog toys and a letter to Santa. She stares, then walks away. She's rattled, but not done. Now the whole neighborhood feels tense like the hush before a thunderstorm. Weird stuff starts happening. My recycling bin gets dumped. Mulch scraped out of my flower bed, a bag of potting soil sliced open like a crime scene. No proof, but come on, it's Karen. Still, she'd gotten smarter or sneakier. So I went next level petty. 2 new hidden cameras, one disguised as a birdhouse, one with infrared catching every angle. Then I baited her with boxes labeled bulk toenail clippings and used ferret diapers. Left another soaked in fake skunk spray. Nothing disappeared, but the sabotage kept coming. Then finally the big twist, Karen at 2 a.m. in a bathrobe crawling under my hedges, digging in the flower bed and burying a laminated HOA notice from months ago, the same bogus one she tried to nail me with over mailbox color. She'd lost the plot. This was about power now, not packages. Time to fight weird with weirder. I called up Mike, a buddy from pest control with a talent for petty vengeance. He offered me a box of Madagascar hissing cockroaches, huge, loud, harmless. I waited for Karen's Sunday Zen garden ritual, then left the box by her gate with a flyer thanking her for fostering rare bugs. Didn't ring, didn't knock, just walked off. Within minutes, Karen storming my porch, flinging the box back, screaming bloody murder. Next day, she files a complaint accusing me of psychological insect warfare. The HOA calls us both in for mediation. She shows up in a neck brace, claims emotional whiplash, while I come prepared with video evidence and a notarized letter from Mike. Result: no violations, just a stern stay away from each other. Her dog poops on the HOA president's tire on the way out. Then comes Tim, my retired Army neighbor, flagging me down while I'm mowing. He says Karen was snooping again last night. Clipboard tape measure, taking pictures. Sure enough, footage shows her measuring my porch and taking photos of my lights and planters. I realize she's trying to get my house cited for code violations, quiet bureaucratic sabotage. I call in a favor to my cousin Nyla, who works at the assessor's office. She traces Karen's anonymous complaints. Turns out Karen filed them with fake timestamps, totally sloppy. Nyla submits everything to the city as evidence of fraudulent reporting. Next morning, Karen gets a certified letter. She's flagged for abuse of the HOA complaint system and warned about potential expulsion. She's furious, marches to my porch yelling accusations. I just sip my coffee. Shame, all those packages you leave me are full of garbage. She storms off, swears it's not over. But Karen isn't done. 2 nights later, I hear scratching behind my utility sink raccoons. 2 of them somehow lured into my crawl space. I call Mike set traps, and sure enough, the raccoons are caught, one of them pregnant. I call animal control, file a report not just with them, but with the Environmental Health Division, because planting wild animals on someone's property, that's a felony. Officer Sims, the wildlife cop, shows up again. He checks the footage, gives me a grin, says he'll file the report. Then I go full spectacle. I call in Danny, a friend who runs a pest control business for sensitive cases. She brings a van wrapped in neon green hazmat suits, fake biohazard tape, full show. Neighbors gather. Karen hides indoors for 3 days. When she finally emerges, she puts a letter in every mailbox accusing me of faking a biohazard, targeting her, and being unstable. Sends a copy to the local paper. I respond with a 47-page packet to the HOA legal committee. Every complaint, every photo, every invoice, all of it. At the emergency HOA meeting, Karen shows up in a red blazer, dog in tow. The board announces her suspension for abuse of the system and wildlife interference. Karen loses it, accuses me of planting raccoons, but the evidence is airtight. She storms out her dog, marking the exit. Anyone else would have given up but Karen. She goes back to stealing packages. Only this time she grabs one marked Federal Wildlife Research Division, a decoy, rigged with a GPS tracker. That's a federal crime. I call Officer Sims, who brings in the cavalry. Karen's caught red-handed, tries to talk her way out, but this time the government's involved. After all that I'm done playing, I pack every complaint photo and letter into a binder labeled Chronicles of Karen and anonymously mail it to the HOA Animal Control the city and Karen herself. 2 days later, a moving truck appears. She's gone without a word. The neighborhood is peaceful again, packages arrive safe, and kids ride scooters past my porch without fear. A week later, Tim drops by. "You ever gonna tell me how you pulled that off?" I just grin. Trade secret. Month goes by. Then I get an envelope, no return address, just a shaky handwriting and a photo of Karen next to a new HOA sign in some other town. Attached, I'll make sure this one isn't full of lunatics. I laughed and shredded the photo. Here's the thing. There's a special satisfaction in winning a neighborhood war without ever raising your voice. Just patience, creativity, and maybe a little help from the world's loudest cockroach. But now I gotta ask, who was right? Who crossed the line, and what would you have done if you were in my shoes? Drop your take below, because in every neighborhood there's always a Karen and always a story waiting to be told.